Why good parents feel like they're failing. Most good dads don't feel confident, they feel guilty. And that guilt is actually making you a worse parent, not a better one. If guilt is what's driving your parenting, your kids will feel it. Conviction helps you grow, but guilt keeps you stuck. That guilt that is popping up for you is actually feeding into the thing that you want nothing to do with, that you want your kids to have nothing to do with. Feeling like a failure as a parent is something that a lot of parents deal with. It's something where the people that we love the most, we only aim to give them everything that we can, to be as great as we can, to help them in any way that we can. And when we don't, or when we fall short, or when we feel like we could have done more, then we beat ourselves up over it. This is not unique to you. It's not unique to me. It's 0% fun, but it is coming from a nice place, from a good, well-intentioned place. You really care. There's a saying that if you're a good parent, you'll worry that you're a bad parent. And that is largely true. But if you're a super self-aware bad parent, then maybe that's the exception. But largely, that ties into this. Sometimes you'll know that you're not doing a great job. Sometimes you'll know that you're falling short. But for the most part, it's people who really want to do well. We'll all have blind spots, of course, and we'll all have bad days, etc. And maybe even some wrong learnings that we're recreating, that we need to unlearn or learn something better. But for the most part, it's good parents trying to do well and worried that they're everything that they don't want to be for their kids. Feeling as a failure in any part of your life is a heavy thing to carry. It's something that affects the way you do life because you're just rocking up and knowing that you're not enough. But with our kids, I feel like that's one of the ways in which people largely show up regardless. You may feel like a failure, but you've got to be there. You've got to do your best anyway. But when we tell ourselves that enough, when that's something that we're just absorbing, it can be something that impacts the way we show up. Because even when our kids say something nice to us, even when they, put their hand on your leg as they're like in a public area and they're a bit nervous meeting someone new, or they hold your hand or things like that, there can be that element of sadness, of feeling like you're a failure. But it's really important that we don't just let that thought run rampant. As a parent who deeply cares about their kids, it's natural to want to show up as greatly as possible, to be the best possible example that you can be, and to worry that you may not be the best possible example that they could have as a parent. A bad example as a dad, a bad example of what a husband is, a bad example of what a friend is, a role model. These are the things that we worry about. These are the things that I worry about. The thing is, this isn't a podcast to tell you that you're actually awesome and you're actually doing a great job and you shouldn't ever feel like that. That's not me saying that at all. And it's not one way nor the other. It's me saying there's things you got to do. You got to do a stock take. Ultimately, you know whether these statements are true. You know whether you're not showing up. You know whether you're only doing the bare minimum, or whether you're really copping out and you're really not showing up how you know you should. This feeling of failure is largely unwarranted for the most part. Most people do their best. Some people could do a lot better, and we could all do better in some way. That is a given. So this is for everybody. This is not just for you who's not showing up at all, who's not doing their best, who's just phoning it in. This is for everybody. This is for the people who just know that they could do more. They could be more for their kids, that they're letting it down a bit and they're letting these feelings of failure and of being a failure or not being enough filter into their lives. And thus, it affects your kids. Your kids are sponges and they will pick up everything you drop. If this is speaking to you, there's a few things that you can do. The first thing you do, if you're messing up, you're not showing up enough, you're not being the example that you want to be, is own it. Own it to yourself, first of all. Be completely honest with yourself. Do a stock take. Have a look in your life where you are falling short, the things that you could be doing more of, the things that you could be showing up more strongly for your kids, more powerfully. Maybe it's something where you know that you could comfort them more. Maybe you're just exhausted. You're working, you're trying to be everything for everybody, and that's tough because you've got to be there for you too, but that's another story. But this is something where you come into this and you know that when your kids are upset and you know it's the same thing every night, it's the same thing, I'm uncomfortable, I'm this and that you're kind of fobbing them off a bit. You're kind of pushing them aside, you're brushing it off because you know it's the same thing every time. You know it's the same result, it's the same thing, but they come to you every single time. Why are they doing that? Because they want you. They want comfort from you. This is an obscure example. This is not to do with my kids or my family. This is actually whilst doing my placement as a counselor. When I was doing that, I had a client and I was doing a placement at this particular place. He would be there every week. He would see me every week, but when we got there, he would barely open up. He would barely talk about much, pretty general, short answers. And it was getting increasingly frustrating because after a couple of months, I'm going, what's the point? Like, this guy is rocking up. He's not doing a lot. He's just chilling. He is rocking up. We talk a little bit. It's the same thing. And that's it. And I brought that to supervision once, which is counseling for your counseling, basically. And I remember I brought that to my supervisor and I told her exactly how I felt. And she goes, well, who are you to say that he's not getting anything out of this? And I was confused, but she said, if he wasn't getting anything out of it, he wouldn't be there. And how does he get there? And I said, well, he doesn't have a car. He actually has to catch 2 or 3 buses in order to get there. And she said, well, he's going through all this. He's going through about 40, 45 minutes of travel one way to see you every time. And so he must be getting something out of it. Maybe he's not ready for anything more right now. Maybe that's where he's at. And maybe for your kids, maybe that's where they're at. Maybe they are making a big or at least a show of their care and at least a show of their desire to be with you so that they with their dad, they're with their mum. This is something that is easy to overlook, especially when it comes to the issues that always seem to be there. The kid comes to you about the same problem every night or every day. It's the same thing, but they want that comfort from you. And I'm not saying give cookie cutter comfort the same formula every time. I'm saying just remember that when you do interact. Don't let the frustration, as much as possible, it's hard sometimes, but don't let the frustration get in the way of your relationship with your kids because they're just seeking relationship with you. That's what they want. 9 times out of 10, they just want to be with dad. They just want to hang around mum. They just want to hang around you. Whatever it is. They just want to be with you. They just want to hear you. They want to know that you're around and they want to know that you care no matter what. Acknowledge what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. We can't just focus on what we're bad at solely. If we only ever acknowledge our losses or where we fall short or where we get it wrong, we'll think that we're pretty terrible. You will feel like an utter failure because all you've acknowledged are the failures or where you've got it wrong, the things that you've done poorly. If that's all I ever said to myself, if I ignored the good and only imbibed the bad, I'd feel terrible. And so would you. So do a stock take. See what you're doing well. State them. Remember them. They are equally important. And then also have a look at what you could be doing better. The things that you are terrible at. The things that you're okay at. Where you need to improve. A little bonus point for this. It's not a fun one, but it's a bonus point. Is when you feel that voice, when you hear that voice of saying that you're a failure, that you're a bad dad, that you're a bad mum, that they'd be better off if you weren't. When you hear that voice, when that guilt comes up or when these thoughts come into your head, see if that's a familiar voice. See if that's someone's voice you've heard in the past. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's an old teacher who said you weren't enough. Maybe it's not. But it's important to check out to see if there's familiarities there. Maybe it's your own voice. It might have a familiar feeling to it, but these are the sort of things to ask yourself in those moments and going, is this actually me? Is this something that I'm just taking a hurt and I'm applying it to now? I got some evidence in the moment that I'm bad, that I'm wrong, that I'm not enough, that I'm not a good dad, and I've attached it to this other thing. It's like when anxiety, depression, self-loathing, those sorts of things pop up when you're already feeling crap. When you're already feeling bad, that's the time to strike for those negative feelings. They just want to attach. It could be about something completely irrelevant. But if it's something to do with you being bad or not being enough or being a failure, it's like glue. It'll just stick to you. It's annoying. But once you see it, it's obvious to notice. It's easier to notice. And it's something that you can do something about. But by acknowledging it and telling it, calling it out, name it, that's the first thing, and that'll take away the bulk of its power. If you know that you haven't been all that you could be with your kids, if you know that you're not doing enough, as I said, own it before. You have to own it personally. Say it out loud, speak it. Be realistic, because if we ignore it, if we pretend it's not as great, if we pretend it's just, if we lie to ourselves about it, then we're cheating ourselves, but we'll end up cheating our family too. So if you need to own it, so own it completely. Then if you need to, own it with your kids too. You can feel that they're right there with you, that they have seen the same thing and they're frustrated or they're hurt by it. Own it to them too. Apologize if necessary, if that's appropriate. If it's, sorry mate, I really haven't been playing much in the afternoon. I haven't been thinking well lately. I've been a bit not as happy lately, and I don't want to let that get in the way of us hanging out. So let's go play catch today. Those sorts of things. Super powerful. The kid feels seen, understood, and heard. That's the best thing you could do. But to let them know that they're seen and that they matter and that you want to do better for them and with them, how powerful is that? Be transparent. Transparency is so key. It's an integrous action, in my opinion. Not transparency as an oversharing. Come on, that's not it. Transparency is letting your child know where you're at. Sometimes it's totally appropriate. Sometimes you can tell them exactly what's going on, and sometimes you'll just give your little nice version of it. Broad terms. They don't need to know everything if it's inappropriate or if it's not appropriate for their age. Tell them and teach them what you're trying to do. Your kids are taught by you all the time. You can teach them that it's okay to get things wrong. It's okay. It's normal to feel not 100% sometimes and to let that affect what you do or how you think or act. However, you can also do something about it. You can also try. You can also do actionable steps in order to get better or to grow. It also shows them that they are important. It goes into the owning it side of things because you're being transparent with it. They interact together. Let them know and teach your kids what you're trying to do, what you're aiming for. You could say, look, mate, I'm really trying to find time with you every day and I've been swamped at work. I am trying to do this so we at least have 20 minutes today, every day, together. And if that means getting up a bit earlier, would you be up to get up earlier to me and we'll go for a walk and we'll chat there? Or do you want to play again in the yard as soon as I get home? Those sorts of things. You can say what you're going for, but whatever your capacity is and what you want it to look like, go after that. The guilt that you're carrying from this feeling as a failure, only weighs you down. You can't do well from a place of guilt. You will operate from obligation instead. You feel obliged, like, oh, I got to do this. I have to do this. I got to. Not I get to. It's like, I have to do this. I have to do that. It's I get to spend time with my kids. I get to be an example. I get to be a better man for them. I get to learn a new skill so that I can teach them a new skill. If you only operate from obligation, it won't be from genuine care or joy. And your kids will feel like a burden, like you have to hang out with them. Dad kind of just seems a bit unhappy when he's around me. He seems like he doesn't really want to be there, like he wants to be somewhere else. Don't teach your kids those lessons. Let's teach them good lessons. If you're feeling like a failure as a parent, you are not alone in that. If you're wanting to be a better parent, we've got to do what we can do. Part of that is to look after you. I'm not saying to indulge these feelings of failure. I'm saying check them out, see if they're valid. Then stock take, see what's real, see what's not, go through it, and you will end up picking out the weeds that you're just letting grow. You'll plant better things, better practices, better ways of talking to your kids, better ways of being. But you have to look after you too. You have to get sleep. You have to eat well. You have to exercise. You have to do something. Stack healthy things that make you a better version of you or a more complete version of you. It's not about being an elite anything. It's about being a healthy person for yourself first and then for everybody else. And yes, maybe your kids are the first part of that. Maybe they're the first motivation. You want to be better for them, and that's great. Either way, you will reap the benefits and all of those around you will as well. But we can't just let these feelings of failure as a parent run wild without giving some evidence. Make them present evidence. Otherwise, it's just a feeling. Then with the evidence, see what you can fix, see what you can sort out, see what might need more work, but also see what you're doing well. Look for the evidence of what you're doing well. Have a fair look at this. If you're fair to yourself, you will also show what that's like for your kids. If you are hard on yourself, if you are down on yourself, if you have got bad, negative self-talk, oh man, I did this again, all that sort of stuff, and you are just going in on yourself about something small or kind of being a bit cruel, like a way you wouldn't treat anyone else, your kids see that and they feel that. And then you're showing them that that's what dads do. That's what mums do. That's what they do. So be the example. If you want your kids to have better practices, the best thing you can do is to have better practices for yourself. And you won't feel like a failure. You'll feel like you're doing everything you can and you've thought about it. And it's systemic, starting at the head and moving down. You got this. So don't just let feelings of failure run your world. Don't let these feelings of failure drive you towards what you don't want to be. You've got all the tools to fix it. Start today. Do what you can and do it every day. You'll be a better example for yourself, for your family, and for all of those around you. There is no losses there. You will only become better. That's a promise. If you do this, you will become better. A better man, a better husband, a better father, a better person. Do that. That's it. I'm done. It's late. I had heaps of tech issues with why this episode is late. But we're here and it's working, which is awesome. And I really hope it came out well. Check out my school groups. Check out my business. If you want to work with me as your counselor or coach, hit me up on there. Check out my links. All the best. Take care and be fair to yourself. Peace.